What's up, Twist fam? So a lot of you guys been asking me how you can build a community, and I wanted to show you how I run my community inside my software, and also to show you that you don't need to go build something super technical in order to build a community that's very valuable. A lot of people don't realize the value of community until it's too late. And really, at the end of the day, if you have a community from day one, you are without a doubt going to be more valuable than any other agency that doesn't have a community. It just is that way. Also, because if you think about it, there's actually, even though there's so many communities online, there's actually a small number of really good communities. And because of that, there's not that much supply. So because there's not that much supply, there's actually extreme demand for communities right now and having really good communities. And you can reap the rewards of setting up these communities and hosting them for people. So in that way, they really can fully experience the value of having a really awesome network. And so this is how I'd break it down, how I'd do it if I were you. So first and foremost, people click on the agencies tab here whenever they're trying to view different agencies. And the thing about the software that I've done, and you don't need to build one, you could just simply have an Airtable base or even a Google Sheet. And essentially that Google Sheet, it will be a directory, if you will, of all the different people in the software or inside your community. You could just, for, let's say you're targeting real estate agents, you could have all real estate agents organized by zip code, literally just in a Google Sheet. They could do a simple Google filter and then be able to find different kinds of people. This could be done in Airtable as well. But the idea is just a simple source of truth for everything related to your software that doesn't need to be expensive. You don't need to go spend hundreds of thousands of dollars building it. I actually didn't do that because I built mine in Bubble, but if you want to just avoid that completely, you don't need to worry about it. The other thing that's important inside your agency or any kind of network or community is that you set the standard of what this community is, what its purpose is, and what qualifies as good behavior and bad behavior. So for instance, in my community, you can see here, it says, only reach out to agencies where you can send them at minimum 3 qualified referrals at some point in the next 3 months. Otherwise, it's not a good partnership opportunity and you may be rated poorly. And basically, all the other people inside the community can rate everyone else based on whatever 2 main things they're violating. So if they're not responding and they're just generally being unhelpful, or they're not providing any value, then they can leave a private rating. And it's very important that it's private. And I'll talk about why, because people don't want to be able to seem like they're ratting anybody out. They don't want to be that person. And so ultimately, they won't tell you problems that are happening. So you need to make sure they know that these are private ratings where they're not going to have any kind of retribution for leaving a rating. And so that's really, really important when you're setting up this entire system. So that's something that I would keep in mind. And this can just be a simple Google form. It doesn't need to be anything complex. It just needs to be something that they can fill out to let you know when there's problems and people are not living up to the standards of the community. The beautiful thing about the community, and the reason why so many businesses follow this model, is because communities actually don't, at least for the first like 2,000, 1,000, 2,000 members, they don't require a lot of work to maintain, mainly because a lot of these agencies or a lot of these people in the group or community, they actually police the community for you because they want the experience to be good. And so when they know someone's violating it, they don't actually have a problem typically rating other people, as long as it's not something that's difficult or something that they know they're going to be exposed if they leave this rating, right? They need to know that it's private. But people ultimately actually do like this because it makes the quality so much better and it helps you stand out online. So this is something you don't need to spend money on. Just do a Google form and you can make it happen. The other thing I would do is I would definitely have a Slack or some sort of like Discord or community channel or something, and basically allow people to talk about a variety of different subjects, but really just have a moderator, which usually is yourself when you're getting started, to pick the right kind of things to talk about and just make sure that everything is living up to community guidelines and principles. The cool thing about Slack and all these other channels is that you'll instantly know if people like your content because they'll engage with it, they'll share it. I will say that it's also a great source of basically social proof, because these are all things that if you get their permission, you can share, or you can make their identity anonymous when you put it on your website. But the idea is that if you get these quotes from them, from things they're saying inside Slack, then they sometimes will say stuff like, I love this community, or this is amazing community. You could take that, you could put it on your website, right? So it's very important. Now, for me, I've zeroed in on a few different channels. I have 8-figure agency group, I have leads, I have partnerships, and I have self-promo and intros. These are kind of like the main things. I've thought about adding like a social channel, but for now I'm just sticking to these. And really, this has been helping a lot. The other thing that's really been helping a ton is having some sort of daily activity. We call them power hours, but these daily activities are ways for us to kind of like all gather around the water cooler and learn from each other. And they're hosted by different people inside the community. And we basically put all of them here inside the help section. People can go and they can grab the power hour recordings. They can go and grab the power hour schedule, and they can see everything that's coming up to the week. So we have a lot coming up this week of scheduled activities. And then one little growth hack that I've found recently is actually being able to broadcast these in exchange for hosts. So for instance, if you know that it would be super valuable if your community had a daily event, but you didn't want to host them every single day, you could go find people who are very reputable in your community. This is what we do. Find people who are very reputable in your community and to your clients, and basically get them to host these power hours and say, hey, we're doing this every week at this time. Would you be down to be a host? And then what can happen is if you already have a built-in audience, then you could say, hey, I'm going to go take your content and I'm going to share it across all social channels. Can you also share it? So now you're getting all this exposure compounded because all these hosts are now sharing your content you're sharing with them. So they find more value in it. And then everything's being compounded, right? So this is something that's just like a broadcasting hack or like strategy. But I would say that. And then I think the last thing just to keep in mind would be if you're going to do a community, having a bunch of resources is always the way to go. So I have hundreds of hours of resources inside here, and people can search it based on any kind of keyword. They can search like operations, they can search like all sorts of stuff, and they can find all kinds of content inside here. And basically when they click and they view that content, it's essentially like a sorting mechanism where they can find different kinds of things to help them grow and scale their agency. Now, for you, I recommend, again, this, you don't have to overthink this. This could be Airtable, it could be Google Sheets. It doesn't matter. You're the authority. They're going to want to talk to you. They're going to want to hear from you. They're going to want to consume your material. So you don't need to go build this insanely valuable software in order to actually get the same benefit out of a community. And that's really the point I want to drive home here at the end, is that communities now are accessible to everyone. If you had to summarize everything I've been saying in just a few sentences, it's go get a Slack group, invite people to it, engage with them, give them actual value every day, get them to engage with each other, and then just moderate the community. If you can do that, you're going to be way ahead of your competition because most people don't really understand the value in a community. And because they don't understand the value in the community, they're not taking advantage of it. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel, or feel free to just let me know what kind of content you want me to make. This video right here was actually made after someone told me that they wanted to see more content on memberships and how you can create a membership, etc. And so I'm making this for them. And thank you for that suggestion. And for everyone else, feel free to let me know. I hope this has been valuable. Thanks.